My favorite part. Business done, sports done. It's time to take off the jacket and ask more questions of the CS for Defense, Aden Duale, who's been sitting very patiently since 9 p.m. I like that. I like that attitude. Nashkuru Sana Waziri, that's very good.
Asante.
Huh?
Asante.
Okay, let's go to the magic wall because there's lots of questions and comments from people. Let's go there before we continue. The Sambu says, the move to deploy KDF soldiers internally against Kenyan protesters who significantly didn't pose a territorial threat isn't a show of desperation by the government, and doesn't it erode the operation legitimacy of our military? You know, there's a lot of questions about that. Yeah,
I want him to read the Constitution. KDF are deployed within the confines of the law and the Constitution, the Act. And I really want to ask him, when we went to North Rift to deal with bandits, we are in Nairobi to protect critical infrastructure, to protect civilians from criminal gangs, hired goons by politicians and other people who are no different from the bandits and the terrorists that we're dealing with both in the North Rift and in Boni Forest.
So you're defending yourself. You're saying we'll continue to defend infrastructure.
I mean, including where we are sitting. I mean, in the event the police, the internal security organs are overwhelmed, the Constitution empowers Kenya Defense Forces deployment kicks in. All that we need to do is to follow the procedure of law. And that's why we did that. We did the gazettement. And that's why yesterday we didn't come out. We come at the last resort to make sure the country does not go or slide into anarchy.
Yeah, but you wonder in Parliament, they passed that in 30 minutes. It's never been done before. 30 minutes.
I was a former majority leader.
Yes, the first ever.
Yes, the first one ever. Thank you very much. I set up that office. Go back to Parliament during the Moi, during the Kibaki, the late Kibaki, President Uhuru, when I was the leader. A motion can pass even within 15 minutes. If you move, you second, and there's no contribution, the Speaker is obliged to put the question. So it depends on who is saying it was moved in 30 minutes. It's the sponsors of the hooligans and the gangs. All that Parliament did was to give me the backing of the law.
Okay. Irina says, can the CS provide an update on the current status of Agnes Wanjiro's case?
Yeah, I think this must be Agnes Wanjiro case and the British forces in Nyanyuki.
Yes.
I think that question is valid, but the right people to answer is the Attorney General and the DPP.
Well, it's out of your hands?
It's out of our hands. It's more of a criminal jurisdiction. But to answer that, going forward, learning from Anwar Njiro's case, all defense corporations now, we are signing with our partners and allies across the world. We have introduced a clause on criminal jurisdiction, that if a foreign force, an individual of a foreign force like the British forces here, or any other force, they commit a crime against the citizens or on our soil, they will be charged and dealt with under our Kenyan law.
Locally?
Locally.
And the sentence?
That is one thing I'm very happy. It is now very integral. We have agreed with the AG, Cabinet, National Security Council.
And those forces?
Any force, including the British.
They will not be flown out to the UK or US or whatever?
Nobody. And they should hear me clearly.
Very good. Frank Orinde says, so Duale is accepting that the police were overwhelmed. The last time he appeared on JKL, he said that we have enough police officers to handle internal security and extra officers to deploy to Haiti.
I'll repeat it. We have enough police officers. We have enough formations of police officers. We have some of the best even to deal with terror. But in the event we feel, because of the numbers, and they're overwhelmed, I say that, then the law kicks in, KDF is called upon with the concurrence of the Commander-in-Chief to make sure that they are assisted. Yesterday, The police contained the city and the whole country.
Even in Nakuru?
Even in Nakuru, yesterday we did not come out. And even the time when our valid voices, our beautiful voices of our young people were peacefully protesting in accordance with Article 37, we were nowhere to be seen. In fact, we didn't even ask for the gazettement. But the moment Article 37 was abused, it became unruly. People were armed with crude weapons, violence, hooliganism, destruction of property, and loss of life. Then I think any responsible person in charge of the national security organs must protect the country, including the president.
I don't know if you saw pictures from Kangemi on Waiyaki Way.
Yes.
It was ugly.
It was ugly.
They almost blocked the Nairobi-Nakuru highway.
And by the way, that one, no longer, our folks at Defense Headquarters were watching it closely. But
what do you have, drones?
No.
What were you watching?
We have the capability and the capacity to watch each and every rioting, whether we use our aerial survey, whether we use the drones. We know what is going on in the country. Yes. And
you could see what was going on?
Yes, and we were assured by the police they will deal with it. And when Nairobi County Police Commander, Bungei, went to Waiyaki, he controlled the situation.
He said it was okay?
No, it was, you were showing live. He controlled the situation.
It was ugly.
He went with enough personnel.
It was ugly.
Yeah, it was ugly.
Sure.
And you saw what happened yesterday. People were being killed. Property was being destroyed. That was not Gen Z. That is not exercising Article 37. Those who are saying Ruto must go, we do this, those are not reading the Constitution. Kenya is a celebrated democracy. Every 5 years we elect leaders. Where leaders fail, you raise concerns like the Gen Zs and many other people, but we must protect the sanctity of institutions like Parliament, the judiciary. Legislative authority of the state lies with the Parliament. The 349 members and the 67 senators. They have that power for now until 2027.
You didn't mention State House.
The State House, has its own law separate called the State House and State Lodges Protection Act. Those who are saying invade State House, those who are saying occupy State House, remove Ruto, those are not Gen Zs. Those are agents, those who still have not recovered in the previous administration, in the current space. There are many people who are not happy. They never expected William Ruto will remove the country from the mess they put it in 2022. Our debt level, and I'm sure now that we have a new Director General who has been appointed, the debt of our country is not a secret. It's a public document. If you go to Parliament...
We're at 10 trillion.
No, we are past. Uhuru left us with 10 plus.
So where are you now?
But William Ruto, in the last 2 financial years, the problem why we have a debt is because we have a serious deficit when we are planning our budget. Last year, the deficit, 2022, during the last year of President Kenyatta, he borrowed, the deficit was 1 trillion. When President Ruto came in, he said, we must reduce first the deficit. The first year, 2023, 2024, was 700. This year, it was 526 billion. But because of now, again, the declining of the finance bill, now we have more deficit.
Yeah, he said on Sunday he's going to borrow another trillion.
No,
another trillion.
We have a choice. We have a choice now, either to borrow or to cut a lot. First, we have to cut all arms of government.
Cut the fat.
County government, cut the fat, yes.
Yes.
County government, national government, judiciary, Parliament. We cut all the expenses. Even, the creation of CS was extra expenditure.
Yeah.
And I think as a country, I agree with the agencies, we must live within our means. That was the message of President Ruto from the day he was sworn in.
So you're telling me CSs aren't working from home? They're not earning salaries?
What do you mean home?
CASs.
No, I think from...
No, you can tell us. Are they working from home?
No. At least there's one CS for Minister of Defense. We complied with the law. He's not working. He's not earning.
No salary?
No salary, nothing. He's waiting for, in fact, there's a new law, they're waiting for a new appointment. But from all the indication of the president, I think until the economy improves, I don't see there's a space for CS. Even though I don't want to speak for the president. He's appointing authority.
Johan says, kindly ask Honorable Duale about the status of Kenyans who offered their services at Uhuru Gardens project and they haven't been paid for 2 years later. What was that? Was that building? Was that?
Yeah, you know, that is the Uhuru Gardens
yes,
Mausoleum.
by Carnival, yes.
Yes.
Beautiful place.
It's a beautiful place.
Beautiful.
But if I tell you the amount of money pumped in by the previous administration, it calls for audit.
Really?
9.8 billion.
What?
Yes. Somebody should audit that. And that's what we're doing. That's why Newton and team, we will sort them out.
9.8
billion, and they're still asking for another 1.9 billion. I mean, you go there, I mean, it was a ripoff. So we're auditing that. It's part of, if Kenyans are asking, we audit the public audit. We are going to audit that project of the previous administration.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I'm telling Newton, there are sections that we feel we should pay, and we're going to look at it.
Going to pay them eventually.
Yeah.
Okay. I have heard that the government is aware of those people sponsoring these demonstrations. Why can't they come out with clear information to the public? I asked you earlier, are you going to name names?
Yeah.
You're going to name names.
Watch this space. Wait for Professor Kindiki and our other colleagues who are in charge of the internal security. They will be named. Government does not hire goons. Government has security agents. The people who hired goons, the people who killed, maimed, destroyed property on Tuesday last week, Thursday last week, Tuesday this week, under the camouflage of joining our vital voices from the agencies, they will be dealt with. There's no place for impunity in our country.
But will there be arrests? I mean, will we see action?
You wait for this space. They will be arrested.
You keep saying,
you know,
watch this space.
When I tell you impunity should not have a place. When you steal, when you maim, the organizer, the financier, is as guilty as the person who did that.
Mfaransa says, in light of recent events where rogue police officers have been caught on camera shooting civilians during the Gen Z protests, what immediate action is the government taking to investigate and hold these officers accountable?
I think there are many institutions, including IPOA, Kenya National Human Rights Commission, civil society groups, the police themselves in their internal, parliament may be in its own way. All these will be investigated, but we must also investigate. You have seen the video going around, the way a police officer was being handled in Bondo.
Terrible.
He's a Kenyan. So even those who mishandled law enforcement officers, they must face the full force of the law, the way any law enforcement officer who commits a crime, who killed a citizen of our country, outside the law must be dealt with.
Including that sniper who was...
No, in fact, the sniper, we are looking for who the sniper was.
Will you get him?
Yeah, if it was from government, we'll get him. We have CCTV cameras. I think we have taken, the DCI has taken his special squad, and I'm sure we'll come to the bottom.
Very good.
But a police officer has been injured.
Yes.
Yeah, but that's sniper.
Anonymous says, do you have CCTV footage of protesters invading Parliament?
Yes.
You have those?
Yes. That's why the DCI is looking for all the guys who went and insurrected the chambers.
The 40 people?
Yes. And let me come back to what happened on Tuesday is exactly what happened at the U.S. Capitol Hill on the 6th of January.
2021.
Many died.
Yes.
Many of Trump's supporters were killed.
Yeah.
Many. I'm not justifying that ours should be killed. Many of them, over 500 to close to 1,000, are in jail. The National Guard, the Washington National Guard, were in Capitol Hill, like the military, in Capitol Hill for about 6 months.
The police killed as well.
A policeman was also killed.
Yeah.
So we must protect democratic institutions from hooligans. The GNCs, the vital forces, wanted maybe to occupy the open space between the mausoleum and Parliament. But these gangs and, who have been hired, and on that Tuesday, let me say it here, On that Tuesday, outside the agencies, there was a systematic plan to ban Parliament, to ban Supreme Court, and maybe the whole of the government square, and then go to State House. God has saved. Kenya Defense Forces, our security agents, did good work to make sure they saved those institutions.
So what you're saying is you made the right call.
The Constitution made the right call. I think the framers of our Constitution created checks and balances.
But you made that call that evening.
Oh yes, as the chairman of the Defense Council, in consultation with the CDF and the Commander-in-Chief, we invoked the articles in the Constitution, the section in KDF Act, to make sure that our country does not slide into chaos because of greedy, wicked politicians and their agents and their financiers. And they know themselves, and I'm sure they're watching me tonight.
They're watching?
I am sure they're watching me. Some in the previous administration, some even in our current administration.
So what do you tell them? That was the right call?
We are telling them that we know them and we will not allow them to cause mayhem, destruction, and death in our country. A country we all love together. Kenyans must have peace. We are one of the peaceful. We are an island of peace in our region, in our continent, and globally. William Ruto, our president, has profiled Kenya to a status that it has never been in the last 1 year.
And yet?
So there are many people around, who are jealous of what he's doing. But they have to live with him. He's going to change Kenya, by the way. William Ruto will change Kenya.
And yet the hashtag Ruto must go?
No, that I told you that is from people who lost elections, who have not recovered from the loss. Wamalwa, Kalonzo, Musyoka, Babu Owino, Sifuna, I'll name them. There are many.
Not Gen Z?
No. Gen Z had a valid, vital concern, which the president has addressed. And we should not mix. Even those who want to destroy our country. So if Kenya today goes to the dogs, so which people are they going to lead? And I really want to ask our citizens tonight, as a Minister for Defense, humbly, our beautiful voices have raised concern. We condole with the families that lost their loved ones. We sympathize with those who are injured. We sympathize with those who lost their property. Kenya is for all of us. Let us protect, despite our divergent views and opinion, let us protect our country.
Gigi Musembi says, will Aden Duale accept to receive a half reduction since he earns very much, and also can he accept to be audited as an example to other officials?
I am ready.
You're ready?
I am ready.
How many camels do you have?
Oh, camels I have. If, pastoralists, we don't... pastoralists, there are two things that they don't disclose. The number of camels
and children.
And the number of children. I'm not going to do it.
Okay. Fair enough. Fair point. Kinyu MD says, unbelievable. What projects has this government completed? Ask the CS to stop patronizing Kenyans.
I don't have the capacity to patronize Kenyans. But what projects that we have completed is everywhere. You should give me which one. Be specific. Yes.
Housing.
Housing
is a mess.
Housing, my friend, housing sector is across. In KDF alone, we are building over 3,600 housing units for both our married quarters, our single officers, and for our constables. I think the housing alone has employed close to about 140,000 Kenyans. And we anticipate the projection of the president and all of us that in the next 1 year, we will employ, that housing alone will employ to about 400,000 Kenyan youth. Yeah, I'm telling you. Look at the food. We invested in subsidy of fertilizer and seeds and everything. Today, food prices I doubt from 2022 when we took over.
Yeah, but
Unga now is 120.
Yeah, but look at what happened to the fertilizer that was mixed with this, rocks and...
where is the leadership of NCBD? From the MD to all the general managers. They have been taken to court.
Yeah, but some CSs were not.
But Parliament in its wisdom.
In its wisdom?
Yes. Parliament, and it is the Constitution that says the House deals with it. The whole House agreed that my colleague should go. Then the next stage is referred to a committee. The committee exonerated him. And then the same law says if he's exonerated, there will be no vote that will be taken. But if he's indicted, another vote will be taken. So Kenyans can ask for amendment to that law. But I agree that all of us, we must fight wastage, corruption, and we must protect public resources.
By the way, there was a shipment from Ukraine or Russia of fertilizer that kind of...
I'm told that when it disappeared in high seas, not within our borders. I'll tell our Navy crew and ships to trace where it disappeared. Yes.
Crispinus Adam says, it is evident that most Kenyans, and not just Gen Zs, are demanding for positive change and efficiency in governance. Could there be people within government that are infiltrating the protests for their selfish gains? There's been that talk.
I don't think whether they represent government. I'm the Minister for Defense. We could have known that. The people, and I think Crispin, I think he should wait for the information that will be given by the Interior Agency, the DCI, the Minister for Interior, my colleague, the National Police Service, IG, and we will find out. But we have information that there are members of parliament, there are former members of parliament, there are certain NGOs, there are certain who wanted to cause mayhem, destruction, invade critical democratic institutions like parliament and state house for their own selfish political game.
Right. Listen, CS, we're going to take a quick break, come back, and before I do that, the 8 bullets on the kid that we talked about, right? Yes. There's been that talk about it. I mean, he was killed by one single bullet to the head. Obviously, that killed him.
Yes.
But there was 8 bullets in his body. They're insisting there was 8 bullets in his body.
In fact, I think it's good. It's good we find out where that child is, which part of the country, because as I was sitting with you here, when I was coming here, I asked the DCI, and he sent me all the other post-mortems. So it is very, very sad for a child to receive 8 bullets. But I think, we don't want to be victims of fake news and propaganda. Maybe it has happened somewhere else, not in Kenya.
No.
But no. I'm just saying. But I really want to ask with a lot of humility that we need to find out. I mean, that is unacceptable for a child to receive 8 bullets. I don't think I have children, you have children. I mean, we are in a country that respects the rule of law. I think that is uncalled for, is unacceptable. But I think I will ask agencies that are concerned, the DCI, that they must go to the bottom of that. That question was asked the President. I have been asked. I'm a member of the National Security Council. From here, I'm going to deal with that matter. Good.
Let's take a break, come back. I want to ask you about the Deputy President. I asked you this the last time, and you said that's way above your pay grade.
Yeah.
But this time, Ricky G is blaming NSIS Director General for quote-unquote sleeping on the job. He blamed NIS boss. Wait, hold that thought. It's getting hot. I may have to use this fire extinguisher very soon.
You better.
Keep tweeting at Kananga Jeff and Citizen TV with the hashtag JKLIVE. JKLIVE takes a break. We'll be back. Don't go away. Back in a moment.